meeting of the Bloomington Technology Commission to order on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo at 4:01 p.m. Do the roll call. Gary Numer is here. Ravi Devuri.
Present.
Jennifer Brown.
Here.
Jacob Beltrich.
Here.
Robert Davis. Jamie Matthey.
Here.
And from the city, we've got Craig McBeath and Mark Owens. Do we have any public comment, Craig?
We do not have public comment today.
I think I've got to solicit a motion to, oh no, I don't. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, moving on to the minutes. Did everybody get the minutes and get a chance to review them? Any comments? Okay, there being no comments, I'll solicit a motion to approve the minutes from the April 7th meeting.
Motion to accept.
Second that motion.
Did we get a second?
Yeah, I second that motion.
Okay. I vote to approve. Robbie? Jennifer?
Aye.
Jacob?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
You vote, Jamie?
No, I don't get to.
Okay. Unanimously approved. Okay. Move on to the regular agenda. The annual work plan updates and working groups. Privacy and data policies. Mark, do you want to give us an update there? I have nothing to say.
I do not have anything new to report. I've been working a little bit with the Bloomington Police Department on the matter and been reviewing some of our current policies, but nothing new really at this time.
Yeah, likewise, nothing to add.
Okay, so let's move on. 5G cellular has been tabled. City infrastructure. Smart street lighting. Any updates there?
So I will say that the most recent update I have is that we picked a vendor that's going to do a small study of our existing street lights that we have right now and use that to help us put together an ROI in terms of would we be successful moving forward or not? I don't know if that contract has been awarded at this point. It was a discussion I had a couple of weeks ago with the city manager and deputy city manager. So I think that they were ready to move forward with Johnson Controls to do that, but I'm not positive if that's happening or not. So it's going to be hopefully a 6-week turnaround where we theoretically should have a deliverable sometime in June that we can take action on and take the next steps of looking at it and seeing if it makes sense to move forward, kind of to the next step and what that next recommended step is. We did narrow the scope down originally because the original scope had a bunch of stuff around water systems that we didn't want to conflate into the smart street lighting. And so that might be something that we pursue some point in the future. I'm not sure. That'll be probably a question that would more likely be directed to Craig and Public Works if they want to move forward with that. I know that we've got some water infrastructure testing that's currently ongoing, but that's separate away from the smart street lighting. Although I guess there could be some adjacency depending on deployment and, if we decide to move forward with smart street lighting and we do the wireless as one of the things that we've talked about off the smart street lighting, we potentially could use the wireless to power the water meters reading system and automate that as well. It's one of those things that once you've got wireless as a backbone to work from, then we can do all sorts of cool things. And that's one of the reasons why we're talking about this to start with. So, like I said, last update I heard was that we were going to do this small study to move forward and hopefully have a deliverable in June.
What would this study involve?
They're going to do a sampling of the existing streetlights that we have right now, and verify some stuff around the billing of them and the streetlights and make sure there's not any capacity issues, because we've run into capacity issues with street lighting before when it came to hanging fiber optic lines on them and things. And then looking at evaluating the actual equipment that would be used. It's one thing for a sales guy to tell us how much money that we could potentially save, and it's another thing to have a realistic expectation of what really things look like in reality moving forward, right? So the sales guys like to tell us that an LED streetlight might have an operational cost of $2 per month. We know we're paying $13 per month per pole right now. If we got down from 13 to 8, that would make me happy. But if we got from 13 to something that actually approached $2, that would be phenomenal for the entire city, and a lot of things that we can do from that. So, hopefully they give us a realistic thing that says, here's what the sales presentations say, but here's what the reality of what an actual deployment in Bloomington might look like.
Jamie, do you know if when they swap out for an LED light, whether they adjust the billing downward on those new LED lights?
My understanding is right now, Ameren is putting in some LED lights in some places around the city, and my understanding is no, they are not lowering the bill right now. I was told we are in year 2 of a 10-year rollout, and so theoretically, or actually we might be in year 3 of it now. So theoretically, 20-something% of the city has been swapped out, but the contract that we have with them, they have not lowered the cost. So I could have incorrect information. That was the last information I got.
So there could be some overbilling due in the future.
Well, it's if you called it a managed streetlight program, they could say it's future savings that they're building in right now. If you're in sales, there's all kinds of ways to spin that conversation, right? We've all seen that done before in various different directions. And so I don't know what the contract says right now, and I don't know when it comes up for renewal. And that's part of this whole review process of figuring out what our actual options are and defining what those options are, and then giving us some possible ways to move forward from that point.
I know at one point, part of the discussion had been trying to maybe work with Normal to make sure there might be whatever interoperability between our lights and their lights if they move to a smart system. Would this test be, has there been any discussion about that, about what goes into our test now, or is that still to be determined?
I would say still to be determined. I think that Normal is sitting back to watch to see what we do before making decisions. Which, to be fair, we've done the exact same thing of sitting back to watch to see what Normal did before making decisions in the past too. So this particular one is, I think they're waiting to see what we do because they have other priorities right now. But I think that they are very much on board with the idea that we should have compatible systems where we can do apples to apples measurements on it.
Yeah.
It's something that's definitely been talked about. Normal is taking the lead right now on the, some exploratory conversations around intelligent traffic signaling. And we would, of course, that's something that we would have to do in partnership with them. But so they're taking the lead on that. We're taking the lead on this one. And I think that it'll all come together at some point.
Which would include the traffic signaling, intelligent traffic signaling.
Yeah, that's a whole separate project. The intelligent traffic signaling it's literally exactly what it sounds like. It's the system that controls all the street lights in town so that a lot of things, like if you're going up Main Street or Veterans Parkway or wherever it is, when you cross from Normal to Bloomington or vice versa, you don't suddenly have an entirely new system. We've been partnering with them on traffic signaling for decades at this point. And the new project is potentially exploring some stuff with the Illinois Department of Transportation on a future system that takes into account the possibility of autonomous vehicles, and which are going to require signaling, kind of, they call it A to I or A to E, so autonomous to edge infrastructure. So there could be equipment deployed at major intersections for faster communication. So like maybe we have to get fiber to an intersection in order to have equipment there so the autonomous vehicles know what to do at that intersection faster than if they were reliant on a wireless system. I mean, nobody knows at this point how that all is actually going to shake out. It's all a bunch of theoretical stuff, and there's at least 5 different protocols that I've heard of right now, because every major car manufacturer wants their protocol to be the one. So how this all shakes out, I'm not sure, but I know that Normal has been pursuing some conversations with Illinois Department of Transportation, and maybe we can get lucky and get some grants from the state to upgrade our traffic signaling system, because it hasn't changed since, I want to say, late 80s at this point. So, and the world has changed significantly since then.
Another large element of intelligent traffic signaling, at least at one point, was for first responders, being able to turn on and flush lanes ahead of equipment or apparatus going through intersections, and increase safety that way too.
Yeah, lots of possibilities for that, just like there is for street lighting, and they may end up going hand in hand with some of the aspects that we need. Turning on, like I said, turning on all the lights to the maximum brightness around an accident or something of that nature. There's a lot of safety and dispatch possibilities to what we're doing, and how that, everything will eventually probably work in conjunction with each other, and we'll just make Mark take care of it all.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks for the update.
Absolutely welcome.
Okay, should we move on to the IT strategic plan update? Craig?
Sure. So first, let me apologize for giving you an email late in the game on Monday. I think it was on the 19th. I just realized that I didn't let anybody know that it got pulled from council until that day. So hopefully you weren't watching the meeting and kind of waiting for something that wasn't going to show up. But as I said in that email, we did get pulled due to some other priorities that came up on council. But I do think that actually is going to be a very good thing. I know one of the things that was talked about in the last technology commission meeting was just the time element, being able to accurately and effectively explain IT strategy in a 10 or 15 minute block really wasn't going to do it justice. And as I described in the email, we're going to be approaching that with our 3-on-1 meetings with the city council members, and having hopefully up to 30 minutes or more to really dive in and have an intimate conversation about IT strategy, and field any questions in that environment that they have, and kind of build from there a small presentation that we'll be able to take to a regular city council meeting for approval. It will be a similar to like a master plan, like a streets master plan or a parks master plan, this is the IT master plan. This is the direction, that we're proposing we want to go, and we want to get buy-in from city council on that. So that way, as we start ticking off some of the initiatives that we've outlined, in the IT strategy, that we can at that time say, and this is in support of, the IT strategic plan that you approved on such and such date. This is, what was discussed at the time. So while there's no monetary commitment, for the IT strategic plan, it is a big element to a next step, and be able to move forward on the higher priority initiatives that we've got outlined. So I do not have a date scheduled for that yet. The other new thing is obviously the newly elected officials effective May 1st. Congratulations, Alderman Matthew, on your reelection. So we've got 3 other new members of city council that I'm coordinating with and getting them set up on equipment and talking to them briefly on the IT department and what we do, and kind of briefing them a little bit on the IT strategic plan and what they'll see more of. But the other benefit to this is now, we're presenting the strategic plan to the current city council, which will be seated for the next 2 years. So it'll be theirs to own and theirs to vote on. My hope is that we'll get that either scheduled later this month or early June, and then hopefully the council shortly thereafter.
I'm glad to hear you say that there's a scheduled 3-on-1, Craig, because I was kind of dreading the questions that you were going to get if we try to do this just as a live presentation, with how complex some of the questions can be on this. I know as an elected official, I appreciate the ability to ask questions up front and have a general level of understanding on topics before we get to the public meeting. So I'm glad to hear that part is happening.
Yeah, and as I mentioned last month, that was really my concern, was being able to take something that is so full of generalities and legal language and kind of dry in general, to be able to explain that without sounding like I'm just making stuff up. So I think having that tighter conversation, 3-on-1s is going to go a long way, and again, answer any of those questions, or at least take those questions so I can get the right answer for them ahead of time. So honestly, that's all the update that I have right now. I have taken a lot of your feedback, and thank you again for your feedback last month. That was very helpful. The Infotech Research Advisor that's been working with us on this for the last 8 months now. He viewed that meeting and took a lot of good notes, and very, very impressed with how everybody was engaged and asking good questions. So took a lot of that feedback, and then that has materialized into both the full strategic plan presentation and the smaller 10-slide or 12-slide city council presentation that we hope to show soon. And I will send out emails as soon as I have better dates and times on that, so you guys can be sure to watch.
Okay, very good, Craig. Moving on, any old business to discuss? Anyone? New business? Anyone?
The one new item that I didn't put on the agenda, but I just want to mention, we do have a vacancy on the Technology Commission. And now that Mayor Bill Wamboy is seated, I think now's a good time to work with him on getting that position appointed. So we've got back up to a full commission again. So I will be working with the city clerk on that this month.
So if you guys know anybody that you think would be good at this and helping and has that kind of that big picture vision, encourage them to apply. And the application same when you guys all filled out on the city website, right? They just got to apply and send it back to the clerk's office.
Here we go.
I was just going to ask, do you know if we have any outstanding people who applied and there were no openings at the time?
You know,
I do not believe we do.
no, I think there were 2 or 3 people that applied that did not end up on the Technology Commission, but I think that Mayor Renner talked to all of them and actually found places that we needed help on other commissions. So I think everybody landed someplace. But that doesn't mean that we couldn't try to pirate them away from some of the other commissions, right? So I'll Robbie, I'll go back and see if I can find the list of the applicants from a couple years ago and see if there's anybody I can reach out to. It's a good idea. And like I said, if you guys know anybody as well, you know, bring some new blood into this as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to look for new people. If someone had expressed interest before and didn't get on, I just want to make sure they got their shot.
The only, I guess this is not new business necessarily. I just wanted to say thank you for everybody for remembering to fill out your statement of economic interest. A list already went out of the commission members who forgot, and I don't think there was anybody, I didn't see anybody from our commission's name on there. So I think we were one of the only commissions where everybody actually filled out the form.
Great
So
job, everybody.
thank you guys for doing that.
That was Craig cracking the whip on us.
Yeah, it's a very dry form that doesn't actually tell you what some of the questions mean. And then if you call the clerk's office, they're like, well, talk to your attorney. You know, I'm not going to get an attorney to fill out this form for the city. That doesn't make sense. So, yeah, but thank you guys.
Okay, then. Well, unless we have any other new business to discuss, I'll solicit a motion to adjourn our meeting.
I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll
Do we have a
second.
Jennifer.
Gary, you muted.
Meeting is adjourned at 4:23 p.m. Till next time.
Yay.
Thank you all.
Take care,
See you
everyone.
guys later.
Thank you, everybody.